Who is next?
Rito, I'm pulling them in right now.
All right, here we go.
Hello.
Rito, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. How are you guys doing?
I can't complain, bro. Can't complain. We're talking about World of Warcraft and doing Q&A. And I just finished what can arguably be described as one of the best quest lines in World of Warcraft. So I am a very happy man right now.
Nice. Yeah, I also have two questions, but they are going to be much simpler than the previous topic, to be honest. But
All right.
let's hope I can entertain you with it a little bit, okay? Right,
Cool.
so let me start with the first one. So who do you think the strongest aspect currently is when it comes to like raw power? And who do you think will be after they get their proper aspect powers back? We know that, Deathwing was the strongest, even before the Void God corruption.
Yeah.
But I think it could be Kalagos, because obviously we have, Sibelian and Rathian, but I don't know if they can be as strong as him. Because in the Azure span, when Kalagos came in, he just fucking nuked everything there, basically. And I'm not sure if Rathian and Sibelian could come close to that in like raw power, but I don't know. We might see a shift in power there, but I'm not too sure. What do you think?
Okay, so in terms of raw power, you are correct. It used to be Deathwing. Also, just in terms of even before they became aspects, Deathwing was by far the more powerful fighter. And he also loved fighting. It's actually one of the things that I love about Nalfarian. Reading about Nalfarian before he became an aspect, he loved fighting. In fact, there's multiple times during Dawn of the Aspects where he gets angry at Malfurion because Malfurion doesn't want to fight and sort of wants to wait, and he gets impatient. He's like, let's just fight. Just fucking have a fight, So it's very interesting. He loved fighting. He was very good at it. He saved Malygos and Alexstrasza and Ysera's life on multiple occasions. And this is actually just to give you guys a sense of how powerful Malfurion was. Of all of the dragon aspects, before they became dragon aspects, so of all the future dragon aspects, Nalfarian was the first to do any sort of real damage to Galakrond. He landed on Galakron's head with such a force that it stunned Galakrond. He was the first to do any sort of real damage that made Galakrond actually startled at what the fuck just happened. After that, multiple did it, but he was one of the first that just happened to do it. So he is very powerful. As for today, the question that you're asking really gets into, like you say, you promised that you were going to ask easy questions, and now you come with a very difficult one. Because here's the problem with your question. Where does the power of the dragon aspect come from? That's the big question. Is it something that is just nestled within them? Or is it something that comes from the flight as well as from them?
Well, if you think about it this way, obviously the Titans gave them their powers, so it depends on the Titan itself, which one they got it from.
Yeah.
So, wait, which one was... So the one that gave Malygos his power was the one that, look after Arcane itself, which is Norgum... Oh, what's his name?
Norganon.
It wasn't
Norganon.
Norganon. It was Norganon. No. Was it Norganon?
Nope. I'm not quite sure actually right now.
Fuck. Dude, I literally... Oh my god, I can't... Was it Norganon? Yeah, it was Norganon. Yeah. It was definitely Norganon. Yes. Okay, never mind. Yeah, Norganon gave him the power of over Arcane. Yes.
Yeah, one of his titles is Keeper of Celestial Magics and Lore.
Yeah.
And like, here's my thinking, right? So, Azeroth itself, like, it works around Arcane as well, right? So with Arcane, you can do so much. Like, you can control the time. You can basically do anything. If you're like a mage like Khadgar, he can basically do almost anything. So yeah.
But again, so I'm gonna pose to you a bit of a paradox, but also a bit of a let's say an elaborate scheme. This is how I see the power of the dragon aspects. The aspects were given power by the Titans. They then proceeded to have children, right? Which would eventually become their flight. As the aspect had more and more children and more of their flight, or more and more members were added to their flight their power grew. So I look at it as sort of like a concertina back and forth. The aspect provides power to the flight, but in turn, the flight provides power to the aspect. So it's kind of like a back and forth, which would suggest that even if the dragon aspects were to get their power back now, they would not be at full strength, because almost none of them have an actual flight to speak of. Their flights are very diminished. Now, where this can be thrown out of whack is by the understanding of the ley lines, because the actual power of the blue dragons comes from the ley lines itself. And the ley lines, and this is actually, like, I wish Blizzard would give us a toy that allows us to see Azeroth and her ley lines.
Yeah, there's that huge artifact. What's his name? Fucking hell. Maligo said it, I think. It basically like describes all the ley lines on Azeroth as well. Because how mages work in World of Warcraft is that if they are closer to a ley line, they are more powerful. That is why I believe that the Sindorai and back in the day the Quel'Dorai were so fucking powerful in Quel'Thalas, because Sunwell was there, and Sunwell is sitting on one of the strongest ley lines in Azeroth. And that is why they are so powerful there. That they are like much more powerful than let's say in Elven Forest.
The artifact you're talking about is the Arcanomicon.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. So the thing.
Yeah, because I think. Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
No. Man, I love having discussions, so this is great. The thing with Malygos, and not just Malygos. Remember, Malygos is considered to be the warden of magic, so to speak. But mortals can do it too. This is one of the reasons we had to eventually kill Malygos, because Malygos wanted to kill, or at least control, all mortals that were using arcane magic at the time, because he believed that only dragons should have this ability, because mortals can't be trusted with it. That's where the massive fight came in. But mages and blue dragons see Azeroth very differently to the rest of us. They see ley lines. They see the power all around us. And the ley lines aren't just in Azeroth. It's literally everywhere around us. These ley lines run. And the way that magic works is the manipulation of these ley lines into different things. So I think in a pound-for-pound fight right now, I probably give it to Kalecgos, the same as you.
Yeah.
Because... Sorry, yeah?
I was gonna say I have an unpopular opinion, but I'll wait till you finish that.
No. What's your opinion?
I was going to say I think the most powerful is actually Norsdamu. The problem being he is adhering to the one true timeline, and only by becoming Murazad is he able to actually free himself of his own personal restraints that allow him to tap into the power of all the timelines and basically just be able to pretty much undo or cause whatever he would want. So I think you're right. In the current mix-up, Kalecgos is probably the most powerful for raw magic. But I think if we took Norsdamu's one rule away about, protecting the one true timeline, he would be much stronger.
So here's where I will sort of... Okay, let's go through this. Let's go through this logically. If you are correct, and it is the Titans that gave the aspects their power, and the aspects, once crowned, gained their full strength, then it is clear that whether Sibelian or Rathian becomes the aspect of the earth, they will once again have all of the power. Why? Because the ley lines come from Azeroth. It comes from the earth. Which means that, technically speaking, Rathian could have the ability to shut the ley lines around Kalecgos. He could literally shut Kalecgos off from those ley lines, because he does have the power of the earth. Azeroth fights for him, so to speak. So it would kind of be like fighting Thrall at his best or Malfurion at his best. So how the fuck are you going to do that? Malfurion can literally just open a hole in Azeroth and pull you into it. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like,
I just... I just want to make a comment on Mornis because I really think that Nosdormu could be the strongest because I'm just trying to think. Do you think it is possible for Nosdormu that let's imagine there's like a huge battle, I don't know, between whatever evil we are gonna face and all the flights, and they just can't defeat this enemy, and then Nosdormu is just gonna be like, fuck it, turning into Morozond right there, right then. Do you think he has that ability to just snap and turn into Morozond, get that power boost?
Yeah,
and then became Morozond that way.
No, the problem is the trigger for his transformation is
what is this?
rejecting his death.
Yeah, but remember, if, like he said, if they fight a powerful foe, that could be him rejecting his death, right? By giving up on the true timeline and instead accepting the fact that he needs to draw upon all of the timelines in order to defeat this foe, because the foe spells absolute legitimate death. He may actually turn into Morozond as a result of that. So we're never actually told that he's on his deathbed when he becomes Morozond, or how far along into death. It might just be like, for example, before they fought Galakrond, they knew that they were all going to die most likely. So imagine if Galakrond came again in full force, and they knew that they were most likely going to die as a result of this battle. If Nosdormu then decides, never mind, I'm gonna pull on the power of all of the timelines now, that turns him into Morozond. And yes, that was because he was trying to circumvent his own death, but because he started to embrace the other timelines, this turned him into Morozond, and we go down this list. I'm still not sure, because at the end of the day, Malygos was incredibly powerful, and here's the other thing that needs to be kept in mind. The blue dragons have above normal intelligence. They are incredibly intelligent, and they are planners. They're incredibly strategic. This is why, very interestingly, the Proto-Drakes did not look towards Alexstrasza when they were fighting Galakrond. They looked to Malygos. You see, because while Alexstrasza was brave and definitely headstrong, it was Malygos that even as a Proto-Drake, had the ability to think through multiple scenarios and come up with the one that would probably be best for them to follow. It would stand to reason that all blue dragons have this ability to think through things and be very strategic in how they attack things. So that makes them a very difficult opponent. The next one we have, obviously, the Black Dragonflight. They have power over Azeroth. They literally have all of the power of shamans and all of the power of druids. They have Azeroth herself as their weapon. And some of that might actually counter what the blue dragons may want to do, although we'd have to ask, are the ley lines part of Azeroth, the planet, or are the ley lines just part of Azeroth, the Titan? And we can have an argument about that, right? Yeah, it's very difficult to say. What exactly...
Yeah, this topic here...
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go.
Yeah, no, the topic that you mentioned just perfectly leads into my next question, to be honest, is that...
Before you ask your next question, let's just run through this. I really want to work this question to its end. Okay, so we have the black and we have the blue. Then let's look at Nosdormu. They have power over time. Now that makes them a very difficult combatant, because if truly embraced, they would be able to know what you're going to do before you do it. But we already know that Nosdormu doesn't want to do that. And we also know that right now the Timeways aren't really responding to Nosdormu, so it becomes very difficult for him to know what will happen and how it will happen. So Nosdormu is out. I believe him to be the weakest right now of all of them. Now, if we were to say Nosdormu / Morozond, different fucking discussion, there he may actually be one of the more powerful ones, because Morazan has no qualms looking back and forth. So anything that you want to do to Morazan, he would already know that you're going to do it, and he would have already planned for what you're going to do and then do something different. But then, of course, one can very easily argue that now that he's done something different, he would once again have to look into the future to see what you will do once he's done something different. So it's going to be a constant back and forth, but never mind. Let's leave the paradoxes out of this. Let's just say that he, right now, Nosdormu is out of the question. The next one we have is Alexstrasza. Alexstrasza breathes fire that can either harm or save. She has power over life, which automatically then also gives her power over death, and I do believe that if she needed to, she could snuff out your life with a thought, considering that she could literally just stop life from flowing through you, as that is the power that she's been given. A very powerful ability indeed, although to what extent that would work remains to be seen. So Alexstrasza may actually be the most powerful. And then you have Ysera, which I actually think might be the scariest of them all. See, because
I think people are sleeping on the green flight a little bit.
Well, the thing with Ysera is she could literally induce a dream, and she could kill you without even touching you. She could literally just leave you to wither in the dream. That's it. She makes you fall asleep and you just never eat again. You never do anything again. You just die.
Yeah, this is so interesting. Like, all of the flights have like such a powerful abilities, but they stick so close to their characters that they are just not exploring that. Like, for example, like Stars, as you mentioned, I could never see her do anything like that because that's just not her, which is kind of interesting.
It's interesting to see Alexstrasza physically feels the death. That's, by the way, that's her curse. We spoke about this before. Every single one of the aspects has a benefit, a gift, and a curse. Her curse is she feels the death of every single being on Azeroth. Everyone.
Yeah.
Anyone that gets killed, Alexstrasza feels that death. She experiences it herself, as if it's happening to her.
I think a big death will happen in this expansion. I don't know why, I just have this feeling, because if you look at the narrative, it's very emotional. Like, especially like Kalagos's, it's, dude, I'm not even kidding. Like, when we were questing to Azeroth and we had those cinematics, I literally almost cried at every Kalagos cinematic. They were so good. And same goes for Nosdormu, really. Is that I just feel like that something is there gonna happen. Like, someone's gonna die there. It's either like Nosdormu or I'm not sure. Kalagos probably not. But
I had the benefit of rereading Dawn of the Aspects. Now, the first time ever that I read Dawn of the Aspects, I did not like it. I've never been, full disclosure, I've never been a fan of Dragon lore. Never. I've never cared about Dragon lore. It's always been sort of, who gives a shit? There's cooler things in the universe. Not that I hated it, I just didn't think it was that cool. Then I played Dragonflight, and I sort of went, you know what, I think let's reread this and see if things have changed for me. And I started reading it literally a couple of days after Dragonflight came out, and I devoured it. Because suddenly so many new things started jumping out at me. Things that I read it and I just didn't give a shit about it. And now I'm reading it and now I'm playing the game. It hits so much harder, bro. If it's been a while since you've read Dawn of the Aspects, everyone in chat, everyone that's watching this on YouTube, do yourself a fucking favor. Go read it. Go read it again.
I can say that you are absolutely right, because before I went to Azurspan, there was a Battle video about Kalagos, and I looked up some other lore stuff about the Blue Flight, and their story is just so sad in a way. And it hits so much harder to see Kalagos there trying his best to, reclaim his flight, to revive it. It's just so good. I love them. I'm so obsessed with the Blue Flight. It's funny.
Oh yeah, very true. And Mew, just want to say, it's not that she does do it, it's that she can do it. That's what I said. I never said she does do that. Ysera takes the dream incredibly seriously. Well, we know that the Green Dragons have the ability to induce sleep. They can put you in a dream. and they can fuck with you in that dream. It is possible for them to do so. They don't do it because they take it very seriously. The dream is an important place, but that doesn't mean that she can't. So if her life is truly in danger, that's exactly what she will do. But yeah, I believe I'm right there with you. There's gonna be a death. If you look at how the story is being built up, everyone has their very emotional time in this. Like, everyone has their moment in the spotlight, and it's very deeply emotional every single time. Yeah, someone important's dying this expansion, and I fucking
100%.
hate that. It's gonna be a fan favorite. It's gonna be someone that we really care about, and it's gonna hit every one of us right in the fucking nuts as it happens, and it's just gonna suck so badly. But hopefully they do it well, because yeah, I would really love to fucking see it.
Yeah, if Colagos die, I'm gonna cry so much. But
Oh,
I just want to throw this out there. Like, what I can see happening is, this is like a total, like, it's just a theory. Is that in what is it gonna be, 10.1, when we will have the next raid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say that we will fight all the other 3, like, big primalists, and that we spoke about, that Nosdormu stuff, Murozond stuff will happen there.
Yeah.
And then the last boss of Dragonflight will be Murozond himself, because he gave us that, that jump that we can kill those 3.
Yeah.
But in the end, we have to face him now as the last one, and that's just gonna suck so much. That would be a really good story for Chromie as well. As much as I don't like her too much, I can see a really good character progression there for her.
It feels like, especially the fact. So here's my. I agree with you that it's going to be something with a Bronze Dragonflight. The reason being, they're the only one that doesn't have their own zone. They have a sub-zone within the zone, but it's also telling that their story is the final story. And it's clearly also the one that Blizzard put the most effort into. Like, Blizzard really pulled out all the stops with the Bronze Dragonflight and their story. I can see their story being the one that we need to pay attention to here. So I want to thank you for the question, by the way. And I know that you have a second question for me, so we'll get to that one in a second. Just give me a moment, Jer.